What is going on YouTube, and welcome back to another video. In today's video we are hoping to kick off finally the biggest modification to the Tacoma to date. We are going to be upgrading the suspension. We are still riding on the stock suspension. We are way overdue in needing to upgrade the suspension as far as the weight of the truck goes. I'm running pretty heavy right now. I have full trilogy skid underneath and got the Diamondback on top. So what I'm going to do next is set some baseline measurements. We're probably going to do the suspension upgrade in a series of videos, so stay tuned, subscribe if you haven't, and let's get to the measurements. I know this is probably hard to see and even more difficult to record, but this is the measurement of my drive shaft CV angle here in the front. It is measuring at about 0 degrees, and this is on stock suspension still. And here you can see the CV axle angle is at 4 degrees with aftermarket Dobinson suspension. 35.5 inches. 35.25. Now immediately after the lift, this is a before alignment. You can't tell on camera, but this tire is a little toed out and a little cambered. This one's a little cambered too, so hopefully we get that fixed. It's a nice facility. You can see the initial there and then the final on the right side, how much it was off and how everything was corrected. I asked him to maximize my caster as much as possible, and I am no alignment guru. I asked him to give me 3.5 according to the forums, but that's all that they gave me. So next time I'm gonna go to a dedicated off-road shop, I think. Here is first look of the 112 Dobinson leaf springs in the rear. See how much rake that is. That is a 3.5, almost 4-inch rake that I measured at home. This is what it looks like to the eye. I like rake, but probably a little too much rake in my opinion. So I'm gonna take one of the leaf springs out and lower the rear end just a tad. But here's just a first look of what it looks like. I've already put about 100 miles in it, let the spring settle, and this may be what it's settling at. I like the front height, so I don't want to adjust that at all. So I'm just going to adjust the rear end to make it a little lower. Welcome back all. 4,000 miles later, a couple months later after the suspension install. Today we're going to be retorquing all the suspension before we go on another trip. We're also going to get measurements, lift height measurements after everything's all settled. The front I noticed settled a good amount, and then the rear not so much. So I've got a pretty good little rake on it, but let's show you the measurements. From the ground up, about 37. 40 inches.